Hello there, cats and kittens. Today on Crunchyland, we're going to put in some item movers. I've noticed that the watermelon farm is starting to overflow, and I'm just not getting around to pulling all the items as quickly as I ought to. So I thought it'd be nice to add in some extra storage and some item destruction capabilities, so that we don't have things just lying on the ground forever. So today we're going to figure out a way to move items over to our storage here and destroy any excess so that we can free up some space and hopefully prevent a little lag. Before that, let's take a trip outside and visit the mud farm and see what it looks like now. Okay, so here we are, and you can see a peek at the farm now. I went with this kind of old brick building style. Sort of looks like an old depot. Should fit right in our mining village. We've got a little chandelier here, and if you remember, there's the mud farm. Decorated it with some of the blocks that we can get, the glazed terracotta, some colored terracottas in the corner, more glazed, flower pots, the decorative pots over here, and a chest for putting our dirt and mud into, a little workbench for carving things up and making mud into bricks and all the other jazz. So yeah, I'm pretty happy with how this come along. There's a lot of open space here, but that's because we need it for the farm. So cool. Alright, back outside now. You can see that we put down some mud. I've been using the farm to make mud bricks and packed mud, and I put a little bit of a trail in here, replacing the existing path with something that's a little more, mud farm based. It's a different view of the mud building. I don't know how many brick buildings live on stilts, but it felt right for now. I may kind of like the stilts. We see that a lot in buildings in the mining towns, especially for the like the work buildings, as they were built on hillsides anyway. So I feel like this fits. So when we think about our storage shed, we want to think about where items are going to live. And like I said, I wanted to use this section here. So our first step is just to hollow out this area and figure out if we're having any challenges behind there. And think about where we want the items to fall down into. I'm thinking this side right here, and then come around. So we'll give that a whirl. Okay, so we've cleared some space behind us here, and now we want to figure out where our corners are above. So let's take a look at our coordinates and figure that out. We can see our corners here, there, and there. I'd like to use a minecart on rails kind of in the sky to move items around. So here looks like it's going to be kind of intrusive. This one might be doable, but we're going to have to split the items to go both ways. So I'm thinking maybe over here is the best place to bring our items down. And we're going to go past that farm. Let's jump into free cam mode real quick. We're going to go past this farm, connect over to that farm, and I think this one too. Those are our 3 automated farms here. So let's go ahead and create our path down. Ta-da. If that's the start of our item filter line, it comes down, forward, and then across the hoppers. I think that's doable. It might look better with a column right there. And to mimic these, we'll only go 4 high. That'll give us room for a set of stairs there and a full block above it. We've got our chests in. Let's add an access point on either side of here and begin to put in the item filters. We'll start over here, so that gives us room to walk in. This is where the comparator will sit. There'll be 2 dust coming off of there. The repeater will feed into here. There'll be a torch on this side. The repeater will sit there. And we have 1 item coming down. So we get rid of that. And we can make this line all the way down. So now each of these needs to be filled with a filler item and then some of the stuff that we want to put in here. And we want to put in 4 spacers in each of these. And then get that out of my way. So that's the last of our hopper lines in. Next step is to build a run of water that comes through here to carry items across. At the very end, we'll put in, I think, a little lava pool. Okay, so now we're going to put in the water line. Items will fall down from here, land on this ice, and go this way. And now let's gather our resources, the things we want to pull down into the farm, and go ahead and prep those filters. Okay, that's our system done. In order to make sure things are working all right, I'm going to toss some dirt into the hole here, and then use FreeCam to see it flow down through the system. And it should just flow right past all the hoppers and into the lava. We can see the dirt being burnt up there, so it looks like things are working okay. Hooray! Okay, cats and kittens, we're now outside our storage area where our little hole is, where we want items to come down. So what we got to do is figure out how high in the sky do we make this. I think being near the height of this would work well, so let's give that a whirl. I don't know how tall that is, so let's find out together. I'm using trapdoors to simulate a pipe that'll come down. Yeah, it looks like we're about that high now. Think about our minecart coming from around this way, over and back. What we'll want is to have a hopper feeding into this and a minecart unloader above it. So now, well, there's nothing in here. This is powered. That's what we want. And if we drop something in, it goes off for a second. And then as those feed into the dropper, when they're done feeding, it comes back on. So we're going to use the same circuit we used before to power this dropper once it gets an item. So now anything that's in here gets spit out. And then we can see those come through and around and getting destroyed because we don't have a spot for them. All right. Ouch. That hurt. So we're testing the dropper system here to make sure everything is flowing through and nothing falls offside of the pipe we created. So I'm going to drop a few melons in and then use FreeCam to look down below to see if any of them are falling outside of the tube. No. Let's go inside. They all seem to be dropping down and being picked up by the melon filter right here. Okay, so we've tested the dropper and that seems to be working all right. We want to test that the unloader works, so let's come in, drop a few watermelons in here, a few melons in here, and push them across the way. We can hear it unloading, and it gets sent back empty. All right, so we know our unloader is working. That's great. Let's put a little shed around this. Okay, so we've done some building here, and you can take a look. This is what our unloader looks like right now. So the minecart will show up here. All the unloading components are there. The look I was kind of going for here is like a very, I don't know, precarious piece of engineering. Something that was sort of thrown together and it works and it looks super dangerous. And I feel like we've hit that. Like it looks like they just did enough safety to keep things from falling apart immediately. And that's kind of a vibe that we'll see coming through. You know, I got the rusting buildings and all that jazz. So, but that sets our height right here for the minecart run that we'll take around. So I think my next step is to go ahead and build in the lines. So we have about 4 stacks of powered rails now. I think that'll get us all the way around to the other side. Thankfully we have the gold farm in the nether, and that makes making powered rails a lot easier. Alright, let's get to it. Can we put a redstone torch on a fence? Will that work? Oh, I like that better. I like that a lot more. Yes, let's do that. Okay, we have our track laid out. It's not quite decorated yet, but it is in a good place. So let's take a look at the minecart and watch it roll around. See a little bit of a slowdown here. That could be a problem when it's loaded up. Alright, so the minecart seems to be working fine. It's out and running and bouncing back and forth. Our next step is to get items up to it and add in some supports so this isn't floating around. Okay, so I've set up some cameras around the area so we can watch cactus fall off through the farm, go through our water stream, and into the storage area. So we'll hang out here for a minute and see if we can see some cactus grow and get harvested into our collector here. Okay, so we have a piece of cactus up top now. We'll wait for the minecart to do its round. It's coming back. And there it goes. So we can see that's working. Our line for cactus is up and running, and we just have to replicate that for our other farms now. So let's get on that. So it'll carry items forward, and we should have water going all the way down to the bottom now. Let's check that and get some kelp in. And so our items are being taken up and dropped right there. Let's hang out a second and watch the minecart pick them up. Ta-da! Okay, so that's 2 down. I think we have 1 more to go. So this one has 2 farms, melon and pumpkins on the bottom and sugarcane up top. What I'd like to do is run farm off this backside here, run the water line back here, and connect up somewhere in there. Peekaboo! Alright, thanks for coming along with me, cats and kittens. We now have automated storage over here for our continuously running farms, and we have a minecart running around the land, picking up our items and dropping it off in our tipple here. So yeah, thanks for joining. I'll see you folks later. Bye bye.